What's good, everybody? It's Donnie B.GotDaBeats. We live on Two Flu West along with my brother Nicholas Baker. And joining us today is an exceptional guest, brother named by the name of Scooby, but he goes by Frank Sirius now. What's going on with you, Scooby? How you doing, man?
What's happening, man? Good to be on the show with y'all, man.
Appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time, man. Definitely.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No doubt, definitely excited to chop it up with you, man. Like you said, appreciate you coming on. Yeah, man, we're gonna get right in it. We don't waste no time on Two Flu West. We get right to the questions and get to it. So, plenty of people know you really don't need an introduction, but we're gonna take the time to let the people know who is Frank Sirius, Frank Marshall, like whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, I go by many names, man. Frank Sirius is a name I came up with because I've been Scooby all my life. You know what I mean? I was Scooby since I was 1 year old. My dad first started calling me that. So Frank Sirius came about 2007, 2006, something like that, where I started embarking on my R&B career. And I couldn't be no R&B singer named Scooby. So I was always into astrology and astronomy. And Sirius always piqued my interest as the brightest star in the sky. So I just called myself Frank Sirius, man, and it kind of stuck with me.
Okay. Dope.
Okay.
Yeah, we learned the stuff right off the first question. Didn't know.
You know what I'm saying?
The history. Got it. Cool. All right, so let's talk about it, man. You know, how did you get started in music? Like, you've been in it for a while, but how did you get started?
There's really no start date for me. I guess my dad was a singer. So and I've always been around it. Where I grew up in Southeast Washington, like it was a neighborhood band in every neighborhood. You know what I mean? So it was like second nature for us to really grow up being around go-go bands, being around music. My dad was singing a doo-wop group. My uncle is Pookie Hudson from Pookie Hudson and the Spaniels, who's famous for singing "Good Night, Sweetheart, well, it's time to go." You know what I mean? So that's my uncle. So I have a lot of family in and around music. My uncle Wallace, who plays percussion with the African such and such all over the city. You know what I mean? So I've been around it. So I've been doing music, man, since I was, since I can remember.
Got it. So I mean, you play the guitar. Like, how did that come about? Did you take lessons? Is it just something you picked up on your own? Like how did that happen?
Like most of the things I pick up, I just grab an interest to it. I kind of gravitate to it. The next thing you know, I'm kind of doing it. But it started when I used to play for a band called OP Trial, as you know. And we had a guitar player named Kevin California, who we used to play with Backyard every week. And Backyard liked the way Kevin California played. And so when Bubba left Backyard as a guitar player, they got our guitar player. And so I was like, well, just let me grab it. You know what I mean? My father had an old guitar in the house for years. I never really messed with it. And I just started, basically chucking with it, like chucking around in the pockets and stuff like that. And the band for real didn't want me to do it. Especially the lead talker for OP Tribe, thought it was taken away from, my number 2 duties. So he was like, man, would you put that damn thing down or whatever? But, I stuck with it, man. And, I taught myself a lot. Got a few pointers from Kevin California, a few pointers from my neighbor who plays rock music. And I just took what they taught me and, kind of applied it to what I was learning already in school, like with music and stuff like that. I had a pretty good musical background from Easton, playing trumpet in high school. So I just kind of applied what I already knew to what I was learning with the guitar and kind of taught myself a whole lot of bad habits. You know what I mean?
That's dope shit. Look, little known fact, all 3 of us played trumpet in high school. Who knew?
Oh, it's crazy.
Who knew?
I had to break out the trumpets, man. Hit a fanfare one time.
Hey, man, let's give it.
My embouchure is trash right now, bro.
Yeah, you lost your chops.
My lip will be puffy as hell. I try to put a trumpet in my mouth right now. I mean, the guitar ain't no joke to play though. Like I've tried to pick it up a couple of times and I put it right back down because I don't know. Brass instruments is what I stuck with. I tried a couple string instruments, but I guess I didn't have the dedication to make it happen.
There's no shortcuts with it, man. Like
exactly.
You gotta put your time in with and learn get your finger dexterity and all that stuff. All that fancy stuff they talk about.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, I bang on the keys, bang on the keyboard a little bit. That came quicker to me. So
yeah.
All right. So let's talk about this. How did you get nicknamed the Godson of Go-Go?
Mm-hmm.
And do you feel any pressure to uphold that name? Do you feel any pressure to uphold that name?
Well, I got the Godson of Go-Go nickname came from a good friend of mine, well, a couple friends of mine that called me the Godson. You know, when Chuck was still around, you know, it was like, man, you know, he the Godfather. You got to be the Godson. You sing, you play guitar, you know, that kind of thing. And so when he got sick, Donnell Floyd had mentioned to Chuck's manager, you know, once you try school for a few shows and, you know, kind of see what happens, boom, boom, boom. And next thing you know, I was on stage with the Chuck Brown band. Even before he got sick, I had performed with him a couple times. So, you know, so I guess the kind of Godfather, Godson kind of took shape naturally, you know, through attrition. Really, it's really no, you know, body else right now that I think or see can do sing, rap, play guitar, lead the mic, you know, all that kind of stuff. So, so that kind of stuck with that. And as far as the pressure thing, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Listen, when I first started playing, man, I mean, it started right at his funeral. You know what I mean? To be honest with you, like that day, man, I remember sitting on stage, like I'm just saying all of these stars, you know what I mean? Mike Epps, Donnell Floyd, White Boy, Sugar Bear, Big Tony, like all the who's who, all the guys that I grew up idolizing was on stage with me looking to be led. You know what I mean? Like I'm up on stage with all these greats, all these legends. Yeah. And you know, the biggest thing, I've always been kind of, you know, confident vocally. You know what I mean? Like I know I can hold my own on anybody's stage vocally. But people don't understand how great of a guitar player Chuck was. You know what I mean? So some of them licks and stuff like that, like you really got to sit down and go note by note with them joints. And then, you know, you're gonna sound mechanical just playing what you learn. So he was playing by feel. Yeah. So you know what I mean? So to make it feel like a real guitarist is playing those licks, I just had to say, man, you know what, it's gonna come in time. He played for, you know, umpteen many years, you know what I mean? And I can't reach that within a 3-month period, you know what I mean? So I had to take my lumps and say, this is what it is. This is what I'm into right now. And I got to take it one step at a time. And, you know, so, but also even on stage, you know, I still to this day get people that look up on stage and start crying when they hear us play some of the Chuck stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, that Chuck wasn't just a musician. He was an icon. Like, you know what I mean? Right. So it's still surreal, man. I still get goosebumps and the hair on the back of my neck still stand up when I'm playing some of his music. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite Chuck cover?
Yeah. Feel Like a Brand New Groove. That's my favorite joint. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Feel like a brand new groove. Yeah, yeah. When I feel as good as I feel. Yeah. Yeah. I love that joint, man.
Yeah. Any advice or like conversations you remember with Chuck that like stick out to you?
Yeah. One time we went to a record store. He was signing a CD that I had went and bought. You know, it was before I was in the band, around the band. I was just a fan. You know what I mean? I was buying one of his records at Downtown Locker Room, and I had the nickname Godson then from a friend of mine, Uno, who called me that, and Uno was just like standing there. He was like, sign it, the Godfather to the Godson. And I was like, you know, I was shy. I was like, man, don't tell him to say that shit, man. So he was like, Godson, huh? Okay, son. You know what I mean? So it was like, but he used to always say, you know, he used to always tell us, like, if you taking, like, never be afraid or ashamed or feel like you don't have enough time for the fans to take pictures and sign autographs. You know what I mean? Because his famous thing he always says, it was a time when the only people that wanted my picture was the police. You know what I mean? So he said, you know, so for him, he'll sit there and sign every last autograph till everybody's gone, to the last soul. And that's one thing that always stuck with me about him, that he was a people person first, and a musician second. You know what I mean? I mean, a dad and all that, a father, a great husband. but he was a people person, and that's what made people endear themselves to them. You know what I mean? In the long run, he's just an icon, man.
Yeah, nah, facts, definitely. You know, playing with Obsession, I know we had the opportunity where we opened for him once, and just sitting back and watching him on stage, man, like just the presence, the ownership of the stage, the way the crowd loved him. Just you can't like that feeling is just crazy.
It's really the kind of love that all of us aspire to get at some point. You know what I mean? That kind of Chuck love, that undeniable, like it's really no way explaining it, but like whatever he said came out his mouth, whatever he played, the people love. You know what I mean? That's the kind of love you want, man, as a musician.
Yeah, facts.
Yep.
Cool. So let's talk about go-go music. What makes you love go-go music?
Oh wow, it's never one thing, but if I can just put in a quick synopsis of what makes me love go-go music, I would say first the people. You know, of course, you're gonna say the beat. You're gonna have people say the rhythm and all of that. But for me, the most important thing is the people. It's one of the most untampered with, untethered forms of African American music in the world. You know what I mean? Left in the world. Like you have hip hop, who, you know, to me has lost its soul. You have, you know, other genres of music in pockets of the nation, in pockets of the world. But go-go is DC's form of that. You know what I mean? It's like it's really untampered with when it comes to the raw form of it. And you know, I'm proud to say we're still keeping that going. You know what I mean? Like you know, we don't have to sell another record for the rest of our careers, and we still always gonna have the people. You know what I mean? So that means a lot to me, and so that's what makes me love go-go the most. The people. You know, Backyard played at Aqua the other night. It was like they never left.
Yeah.
You know, Red Essence last night. It was like they never left. So for me, man, just the people never give up on us. You know what I mean? No matter how many times we play the same songs, no matter how many times we play in the middle of the week, you know, in a 3-mile radius, we might play 5 times, and then people gonna still come out. So it's no people like that in the world, man.
Right.
Yeah, it's nothing like being in the area, like having that music around, the appreciation you get for like live music.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think coming up, like we said in high school, playing in the band, I think just hearing that live music, and like, you know, both of us live in Cali now, so living out here, like they don't have that same appreciation for live music. They have an appreciation for music, but not like I feel like we got, you know, and being around it and not just being a normal. Like that's the norm for us. Like,
for us. And I think sometimes we really kind of take it for granted. You know?
Yeah.
Like I've been all over the country, man, performing and watching performances. And I got friends that play in, you know, all kinds of bands with national artists.
Yeah.
And they all say to the man, they all say, ain't no place like DC because y'all can work and make the same money we making right there at home. You know what I mean? I got friends that play with Will Downing, Fantasia, you know, all these groups, and they all say the same thing, like, nah, man, y'all got something special there. We can't work at home and make, you know, $200, $300, $400 a night, and, you know, at home doing what we love and just and getting away with it. So
and the multiple nights, like you said, like 3-4 nights out the week. You know what I mean? People still coming out showing love on Wednesdays. You know what I'm saying? On Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Wednesday. You go to other states, man. Like they just don't have that.
Right. They're like, man, it's Wednesday. I'm going home. What you talking about?
I remember going to. I remember being in somewhere deep in North Carolina one time, and we was passing out flyers. Right. This was a listening show back in the day. We was passing out flyers, and the people was like so enamored with these little plastic cards. Like they wanted to keep them, sign autographs, frame it. I'm like, this is a flyer.
Yeah.
And we pass these out every week at home. You're gonna find 1,000 of them in the parking lot on the ground.
Right. No, that's real. That's real. We're gonna talk more about that like outside of the DMV area in a second. But all right, so we talked a little bit about it, but like Frank Sirius versus Scooby, is there a difference between the two, or is it just all the same person and just different names?
Well, I hate talking about myself in third person, so I'm just gonna say this. Frank Sirius. It's one time. You're gonna get one time me talking in third person. Frank Sirius. Actually, it's fourth person. That's crazy. Frank Sirius versus Scooby. Like that's me talking about two different third and fourth persons. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I just had to think about that right fast. So Frank Sirius is my grown-up artist self. Like Scooby is the dude that's been in the go-go band since he was 11. You know what I'm saying? Like we grew up in it. You know what I mean? So it's like that's Scooby. That's the little dude that sing around in the alley and beat on cans and all of that stuff. Frank Sirius is my artist name. That's why I'm registered at the Grammy organization. That's my artist grown up, putting out records, handling the business, doing that kind of thing. So the people around here know me as Scooby, but I did pretty well back in 2007, 2008 with my solo R&B career under Frank Sirius. So I still got a few fans out there that like Frank Sirius. Yeah.
You don't ever break out the third person? You don't ever be like, Scooby don't keep that shit, No,
I do in the house, like when I'm around here being crazy, like in the shower and stuff. So everybody talk to themselves, they just not gonna admit it.
Right.
So would you say you on stage is different than you off stage?
Yeah, definitely. I'm outgoing, and my friends will tell you I'm crazy and funny and all that, but for real, I'm kind of reserved too. You know what I mean? Like I'm observant. I want to be off to the side and make sure I know what the room look like before I jump out there.
Yeah.
But on stage, I'm like, it's no holds barred. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's a personal fight. Like Nick, we come from the era of battle of the bands. You know what I mean? So like when I step on stage, I feel like somebody is talking bad about me, or somebody I gotta show what time it is because I think they're sleeping on us. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody in the crowd feels that way. So I'm playing for that person.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing for the people that come out and see us all the time also. Like, but that's like almost a given. I'm playing for the dude in the back with his back up against the wall, mean mugging because he think we're pranking or he think we don't sound good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I come from that school, so I'm gonna find him or her, the one that's got her face frowned up. Like when the next band coming on?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna break it down. I'm gonna sing to you first. I'm gonna loosen you up, and then we're gonna crank and I'm gonna make you dance before the night over. That's my personal goal at that point.
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's something like that's tailored to people become indigenous in the DMV area to have that kind of personality, that thought process when you were on stage, like to be like I'm gonna find a dude that ain't vibing at all and I'm gonna lock in on him and I'm gonna work him. You think that's something like because I know you traverse the DMV lines too and you do stuff national, international and stuff like that.
Right.
So would you say that that's like something that is like homegrown, where it's instilled in us, young, or what?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a DC trait, but it's a musician trait too. You know what I mean? Like there are a lot of musicians that's not from here that feel the same way. That feel like when they get on stage, they trying to burn whoever up. You know what I mean? It's nothing personal, but I'm gonna make it hard for you to follow me, type of thing. You know what I mean? So that's like an international kind of thing. But the thing you talking about, as far as that is a go-go kind of thing where we cranking and we want to crank to the people that think we not cranking. You know what I mean? So and we got ways to do that with that other national artists I would say can't. Like national artists and rappers and singers, they gotta go into their best note, their best freestyle, their best, you know what I mean? Yeah. Where we can say everybody shut up, Penny, quick, lock it down, boom, 3-man band, boom. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and don't say nothing. Don't nobody say nothing. We're gonna let this thing ride for 3-4 minutes. And we're gonna what y'all talking about after we finish. You know what I'm saying? Like we got that kind of gear that we can go to that a lot of artists can't really go to.
Yeah, I gotta say, I know you asked the question before that was obviously for you, Scooby, but like that's something I say that I love about go-go. And like even listen, like I came across a YouTube channel that went all old school go-go joints on it. And it's just like you said, 3-man band, you know what I'm saying? Like they warm up with a pocket or something like that. And to me, it's just like it's nothing like that. It's nothing like that at all. You know what I mean? In the world. So it's like hearing it and feeling it. It's just like I'm just like a kid again, listening to a lot of the old stuff. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that's the part that I'm enamored with the most, is just how organic it is and how it moves. And like you said, you don't even got to say a word. You can just let it warm for about 10 minutes. And people vibing and chilling, and then next thing you know, lead talk will come on, and then they start talking, and then getting everybody riled up, and you hear the crowd, you know what I'm saying? So,
and that's the thing. So it's not a unique thing to Washington D.C. as, you know. I mean, go-go is, but that type of energy is not unique to us. Like, that comes from Africa. You know what I mean? Like the original rhythm and blues town. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, like, we definitely are. You know, that's some of our roots. That's definitely some of our things that we actually tap into, you know, throughout the diaspora. Like, we are of Africa. And so that comes out in some of our pockets and sockets and cowbells, you know, ringing and letting the beat ride. Like, we tapping into our bag when we go there.
Yeah, you know, I don't think a lot of people, like, if you haven't been in a go-go band, a lot of people don't have the appreciation for, like, the way, like, especially like a lead talker, if they're in, like, really in sync with their band, can like read the crowd, and they're almost like a DJ. You know what I mean? Like, a DJ can put on music and read the crowd and be like, all right, let me do this. And the lead talker is the same thing. Like, they talking, but they also controlling that band and saying, all right, this is what I'm feeling. This is what it looks like. All right, let's do this. You know what I mean? Let's break it down to that 3-man band, or take it to the next song, or, hey, we had this song. Let's not do that song. Let's go here. Like, just that level of control and being able to read is like something that I just don't think people really have an appreciation for.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's not easy. It's not easy to do.
Like, the difference is with a DJ, he relies on himself. You know what I mean? Like, he pushes the buttons, he does everything himself. So, you know, if you don't have a light guy, I mean, outside of a light guy, but you rely on yourself for the most part. With a band leader, you know, you really are literally depending on 7, 8, 9 other guys to be in sync with what you're saying. You know what I mean? So, I like with my band, them guys know, you know, now after playing with me for so long, that, you know, I'm liable to say anything, to do anything, to go shift gears, but they're always right there with me. You know what I mean? On the 1, on the 7, you know, when I get down, like, so that makes it fun also. Like, don't nobody want to sit up there and play the same way every night, 3, 4 nights a week, you know. So you play off the crowd gives you ideas inadvertently. You know what I'm saying? I've made up plenty of songs that the crowd didn't say it first. You know what I mean?
And just go with it, right?
Just go with it. You know, next thing you know, we got a whole groove out of it. So
that makes sense.
Fun part. That's the fun part of it.
Hey, man, shout out to the sound man too, because
it's all a part of it.
Hey, a dope sound man can make it a huge difference.
Yeah, when your sound man is sync, man, they got parts too, and you know, next thing you know, they're part of the band.
Yeah,
you know, that's why they're like their name called too.
Exactly. Hey, it's not a game. It is not a game. All right, so what are a few of your most like memorable moments on stage? You know, whatever it is, whether it's go-go, whether it's the R&B career, like, what are some memorable moments that you have?
I have a few of them. One would be Constitution Hall. A friend of mine, Fantasia, she was performing on tour, and you know, so the whole 9 yards. Me and my man came to see her. We up in the crowd, and you know, her manager comes and get me. It's like they about to do their go-go set. I'm like, what you mean? Fantasia about to do a go-go set? So I'm like, Fantasia's about to do a go-go set. He said, yeah, we about to do a go-go set. So I'm on the side of the stage. She never sees me. She calls me out. No, I mean, he sends me out there. I grab the mic from her, and I rip that joint. I mean, Constitution Hall going crazy. They was like, I hit I hit sardines. You know, I hit let me hear you say hey. And the drummer, he wasn't from DC, but he was right there with me. You know what I mean? So that was one of the most memorable moments to hear that many people scream your name and doing what you say do. And then in front of some out of towners, you know what I mean? So it's like, you are the man around here. Like, you know what I mean? So once that happened, that was a memorable moment. Another memorable moment was the first time that Chuck Brown Band played after his passing at Merriweather Post Pavilion. And we did it wasn't a hologram, but it was Chuck on the screen from his birthday played behind us, but it was to his voice, and we was playing Chuck Baby. Chuck Baby don't give up what he said, and we played the song, but it was Chuck's voice playing with his. We played in sync with the video.
Yeah.
And man, to see people literally, I'm talking about bawling, tears, right? To see that, man, was like the most incredible thing I ever seen in my life, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was like when Tupac did the hologram thing, and they played that. It was that kind of effect, bro. That was incredible.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Cool. So, moving a little forward, talk to us about Sirius Company. How did this come together? What's this about?
Sirius Company is, I wanted to keep a band. Well, I said next time I had a band after I left Familiar, I was going to have a band that, I ran. It had my name in it. And it was going to be my band, for the most part. And in building a band, I wanted to build a band that was sort of small, but, versatile. So everybody has to do more than one thing. And, I hit the jackpot. I can go down the line. Everybody is multi-talented. Everybody has had their own band before, which makes it easier for understanding when, you have band issues. You know what I mean? Like if everybody has led a band before, you understand what Scooby is saying when he says, this is something that we have to do versus something that we want to do. So, when you have that kind of understanding, it makes it much easier. So I haven't had any problems. My band is very easy to work with. John Williams is one of the most talented guys in the city.
Yeah.
Saxophonist, he plays piano, he sings incredibly. Like, Jason, one of my best friends from high school, plays the cowbell, raps, sings bass, harmonizes, like he does everything. I can go on and on. Marcus Young plays piano, jazz pianist. Crazy with the with the Ivories.
Yeah.
But he sings like a national artist. So I can go on and on. BJ, who's revolutionized the game of go-go with his digital pads, and he plays bass also. So it's like we have a bunch of musicians, man. And then Wes Watkins on the drums. Of course, along with Smoke and Dave and other guys and Miss Kim in the band. But I'm just naming guys that really have a lot going on. Wes Watkins with Got My Own Sound. He was #1 on the jazz chart a couple weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? Like I had those kind of cats in my band, which I'm extremely lucky, extremely grateful.
So you got the super team. That's
what I like to call this, man. The most versatile band in the world.
Is it so? When I think about it, like, is it ever hard? Like, I think you spoke about it a little bit, like having people that kind of have that name, have so much going for them. Are there ever those moments where it's like, it's a little hard? Like, I think about like Steve Kerr as a coach when he had, Durant and Curry and Clay, and, they ultimately won championships. You know what I mean? So you get to that ultimate goal, but people always praised him for being able to manage that much talent in one room.
Yeah. It's crazy you say that because honestly, it is hard. We got so many. It's hard to find shots. Everybody gets shots up. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
Especially in a 245-minute set kind of setting. And it makes it even harder when we on some of these bigger shows. We've done Merriweather Post Pavilion twice, where they may give us 35 minutes, 30 minutes, 20 minutes. So, we got to reel off our hits. At the same time, try to showcase what kind of talent we have. So we came up with a way of doing that in medleys. We have medleys that we do where everybody get a chance to sing, rap, do whatever they do within a, short song format. But, like Michael Jordan, you got to know where your bullets lie too. You know what I mean? Like, So, okay, hey, Miss Kim, we need you to put the shot up. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, there are people in the band that, sometimes they got to be selfish and say, Kim, we need you to run off 3 straight songs to get the people into it. You know what I mean? So it's that kind of, like you said, Steve Kerr had to manage that and move stuff around when he needed to and know when it's time to basically share the ball versus when it's time to just take the ball and say, Mike, go get a bucket.
Go take over. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So let's talk about this. We got a video queued up. She ready?
Yes, sir.
How did this come together? Like the concept. Tell us about this song.
The concept is, we wanted to talk to the ladies, like, everything that's going on in the world is revolved around the woman empowering movement. You know what I mean? So we wanted to share in that. We put it out on in Women's Month in February, and basically saying, ladies, you can do what you want. You can be as free as the man. You can make as much money as the man. You can do everything you need to do and still feel accomplished and not feel belittled, especially by people that see the bigger picture. And we just want to be on the right side of history and saying that, women deserve what men deserve. And, she.
All right. With that said, here it is. Sirius Company with She Ready.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I hope you don't mind if I get ratchet. Go out of my mind, completely batshit. My mama taught me it ain't flaunting if you have it. Please believe, best believe I'm a bad man.
Getting it real fast around here. You might need a pass around here. You can watch her dance or watch your hands, cause we'll wear ass around here. This thing takes skill around here. This thing get real around here. You can hush it up. In the game 20 plus, guess what? We still around here.
In these pockets, making hits in these sockets. They got chips on their shoulder. We got chips in our pockets. Don't speak my name, don't come for me. I roll with Sirius Company. I'm a queen that snap my fingers and my team will get you done for me. Cause we here for it.
Getting money, we here for it. Everybody, we here for it. DMV, we here for it. Yeah, ladies, we here for it. Tatiana's, we here for it. All my ladies, we here for it. Yes, indeed, we here for it. Yeah, cause she ready.
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 We here for it. Yeah, we here for it. Yeah, we here for it. Okay. Niggas ass go boom by yay. Niggas ass go boom by yay. Niggas ass go boom by yay. Niggas ass go boom by boom by boom by boom by boom by. Let me know what room I can't come through. I never come too soon, so you don't feel like you and your Zumba. Keep it moving. Bust down that little booty. I've been getting money since I got with Kim and Scooby. I don't know what you've been doing or pursuing. You and ruin. My team ain't got no sense. We out here cranking, check the movement. Them haters popping off and don't be aiming when they shooting. And we don't stop until this movement we pursuing. Let's get this popping. She said she like watching. She turned on my faucet and she let me slide and her kids moved down the side. And she said it's all good. She wiped it off like she worked for Mr. Miyagi. Yesterday we here for it. Getting money, we here for it. Everybody, we here for it. DMV, we here for it. Yeah, ladies, we here for it. Tatiana's, we here for it. All my ladies, we here for it. Yes, indeed, we here for it. Yeah, she ready.
She ready.
She ready.
She ready.
She ready.
She ready.
She ready. We here for it. Yeah, we here for it. Yeah, we here for it. Okay. You ready, ladies? She said she ready.
What's funny about that? Like, it's dope as I don't know what. And it's like little known fact. I got a single called She Ready Too, and it ain't half as live as y'all joint. For real. So I'm digging that real live.
Yeah, I'm here for it.
Appreciate y'all.
No, dope. I love the fact, like, I love the visuals. Love the fact that, you know, like, I want more bands to do it. You know what I mean? Just putting visuals together. Like, I know it's happened. I'm not gonna say it's never happened, but I think it needs to continue to happen. You know what I'm saying? And putting that energy out in the air and letting people see it from that perspective. You know what I'm saying? So
absolutely.
Yeah, loving it, man. I'm loving it.
Appreciate that, man. We got a few more singles that's coming out actually probably in the next 2 weeks. We dropping another single, then we're gonna drop 1-2 weeks after that. So just trying to keep it coming, man. Keep them out there.
Hey, we definitely gonna keep an eye for it. Definitely keeping an eye for it.
That's it.
All right, Donnie, you got?
Huh?
You was about to say something?
Oh no, I said I'm definitely keeping an eye out for it. That y'all lit, man. Real loud.
Appreciate it, bro.
All right, cool. So we talked about this a little bit previously, but like, how do you feel about the strength of go-go music outside of the DMV area? Like, what do you think the impact is, influence is? Like, what weight do you think it carries outside of the DMV area?
I think it's always, well, right now it's gonna always be known as that DC stuff. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
In order for it to grow outside of the city, we have to have people that want to play it and want to create with it. You know what I mean? More visuals, more recordings, things of that nature. Like, we got to put out records. Like, I was having this conversation with a friend of mine the other day. Like, we still, and there's nothing wrong with it, but we're still touting music from 1987 as some of Go-Go's biggest hits. You know what I mean? And after that, our biggest hit after that was "Sexy Lady" by UCB. You know what I mean? So we gotta have more music, and it's a numbers game. Like, let's just make music and keep putting it out until somebody says, okay, we got to make a go-go playlist on Spotify, and we got 1,000 songs in it. You know what I mean? So we can't put out one song every 2 years and expect for people to take us seriously as national recording artists. Like, you know what I mean? So we are respected as, you know, some of the great musicians in the country. We're respected as some of the, you know, as far as sustainability, being able to keep our core audiences and still be able to do our music and still make a living at it. You know what I mean? We're respected in that aspect, but in putting music out, you know, I can't say that we have a lot of music that people can point to and say, oh yeah, let me put on a go-go playlist, or let me put on this go-go album. And honestly, it's some out there. It's just that we don't get behind it enough.
Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think I agree with what you say is around, like, it being labeled like DC music. Like, you know, anytime I tell someone out here, oh, this is where I'm from, they're like, oh, y'all got that go-go music. Right. You know what I mean? That's the first thing. But I think there's power in that too.
Of course.
Like, it's recognized, it's known. I think what you said makes sense as far as having those songs that are like originals that stand out, that people can also name by name. Like, you know, I'm in the Bay Area, so they got their own sound too, right? Yeah. And there's a lot of that music that I don't know, but I know that I when I got here, I definitely knew it. So, you know, I think there's a place where it's okay that it's the most popular at home.
Yeah.
I think really understanding that people know it. Like, people everywhere I've gone, you mentioned DC, you mentioned Maryland, you mentioned VA, they talk about go-go. Yeah. Right? They've heard it. They got an idea. I think that's why I think the visuals are needed. The original songs are needed, because I think the more it's put in people's face, again, they may not call it, like, they may not have a love for it like we may got a love for it, but I think they can definitely have a song or two that they like, oh, I rocks with that joint, or I fucks with that joint. You know what I'm saying? Just like me with the Bay Area music. Like, I don't love it all, but, you know, her got a joint called Slide that got a Bay Area beat to it that I love.
Right, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? E40 got a couple joints that I love, and it's a couple other local artists here. I ain't even whatever, but they got joints that, you know what I mean, that I rock with. So I think it's about the exposure of it and continuing to put it in people's faces, like you say, continuing to make the music and put it out there.
Yeah, and also, for real, also, it's like, it's the responsibility of the top bands to set an example. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm not, you know, I'm not shitting on nobody, but I think at the end of the day, we got to have a precedent to say, you know, Backyard, Rare Essence, Junkyard, EU, all of these bands have to continually do what what needs to be done in order for the culture to evolve. You know what I mean? But for us, to be able, to be still stuck in, like I said, 1987, 1992, 2007, when some of these our bigger records came out, it's really no excuse for it. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say without sounding like I'm hating.
No, I got you.
But I fall in that category too. I feel like it's my responsibility also to say, let's make good music, put out good music so people can respect it in that light. But if I go to y'all right now and say name the latest Backyard song, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like they're the #1 band in the city.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or name the latest Junkyard song.
Right.
So that's what I'm talking about as far as the top bands and the bands that we aspire to be like, setting the example and setting the precedent of saying, hey, I know we playing 4 nights a week. I know we playing 3 nights a week, and we getting money, and we making money, and the band's members are happy. But we have to dive back and invest back into the future of what it is we're doing. So important.
Do you think a lot of it also has to do with the people, both the fans as well as the mid workers too? The people, hey. But and I'm saying that to say, like, I think that's the biggest thing. Shout out to Alan Williams, Reds. He was doing a lot of commentary while we were talking. But I think a lot of it too has to do with we have people who are putting on for the city, right? But I think that's the beautiful thing. The gift and the curse about DMV musicians and DMV talent is that we assimilate very well everywhere, but not a lot of attention is being made. Like, like when you think of her is like, she's like, I'm from the Bay. E40 is like, I'm from the Bay. Every move they make, they doing it for the city. And the DMV people seem to, and I'm not, pissing on nobody's head. I'm so sorry about that. But we just kind of do our thing and go home. Yeah, if that makes sense.
And I think a big part of that, I don't want to cut you off, man, but a big part of that, for real, and it irks me, is that DMV people are so cool and so nonchalant about everything, that when one of our own is doing something extraordinary, it's like, oh yeah, my man doing this little thing or whatever. Yeah. But as soon as CeeLo Green or Timberland or anybody else outside of DMV plays anything remotely close to a go-go beat, it's like, oh my God, y'all see what such and such did? They playing go-go on the Grammys. They playing, you know what I mean? Yeah. But we have our own people doing the same great things, but we don't have that same kind of hype behind it. You know what I mean? So we got to do a better job as fans of the music. We got to do a better job at supporting. And the supporting don't always mean, just buying a record. You know what I mean? Supporting means sharing a record or saying, hey, did y'all check out such and such, such and such? Or DC, we did it again. Boom. Backyard got a new single out. Here's the link. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, we got to do a better job of that and pumping our own up, because, like I said, man, when somebody else do something, it's like the sky's falling, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. I hope, and I really hope I see I want to see the level of I think marketing outside of the DMV area. Like, I think there's a lot of people who do a lot of different things, and that's their specialty, right? And like, you got people going to school right now for marketing, people going to school for digital art, and social media is as big as it is. I think I'd love to see bands really taking advantage of that, and like, everyone who's in the DMV isn't a musician, right? Right. But that don't mean they can't connect and do something with each other. We had someone on previously, and I was just like, we got chefs in the DMV now that's doing their thing. You know what I mean? How do we connect? How do we make these things connect to make it bigger? Right. You know what I mean? Like, how do you make those dots connect and not just feel like everything is this separate industry? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, it can all work together. Yeah, if we want, and that's how other areas make things pop. Is whether it's Atlanta with strip clubs and rappers was like synonymous. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that's where the records got broke in the strip club, and then that got passed on, and it was like they were connecting dots. So I think there's a formula in in go-go bands and music now that works. Like you said, it's like you go and you're like, hey, we making money, we getting it. It is what it is. But I think that formula can open up some more and allow more people in. You know what I'm saying? And really kind of break things wide open on a bigger scale. So
yeah, and I'm gonna add to that. And it's, you know, and I don't want to put nobody's business out there. I'm speaking for myself. But you know, you get into the business for a lot of different reasons. Some of us got into it as kids, as hobbies, to get women, to, you know, for the attention, to have fun, right?
Mhm.
But some of the bigger bands, and I'm gonna say, you know, some of the top bands, when you get to a point where you're making more money as a band than some of the national artists, it makes you say, and I'm speaking from personal experience, it makes you say, what am I recording for? I can never get the money back that I'm gonna spend recording back in record sales. So it really takes the band members to see the bigger picture. Like nowadays, CDs and music is basically a flyer for people to come see.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Go-Go has been doing live music so long. We've been doing live music, you know, so people can hear our music. Where in the rest of the world, people are putting out music so they can come see you perform.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's been an exact reverse for Go-Go for so long. Like a lot of people feel like, what are we recording for? What are we doing this for? When we making, you know, I know some $1.5 million bands, you know what I mean? Like yearly. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you making that kind of money. Like, why are you chasing putting out records? And, you know, especially in the streaming era, like you gotta stream 30 million times to make $1,500. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's always that kind of, you know,
push and pull.
That's the question. But it's selfish for a band or an artist like myself to say, I'm not putting out the music because I'm making so much money gigging, right? And we can say that. But Frankie Beverly ain't put out a record since 1987. You know what I'm saying? But he was one of the most successful touring R&B artists in the world. So it's like, you know, we all got to take a step back sometimes and say, what are we in this for? You know, are we in it for legacy? Are we in it for money? Are we in it for culture? Are we in it for the people? Yeah. And once you answer that question, I think you kind of see where you want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good.
I mean, I think it goes to like you said, like that's a point. Like, you know, if you're making that money, it's like, look, I'm good. Like I'm making it right now, right? But I also think there's a place where, again, like marketing can come into place, right? Absolutely. It may not be that you got to change up the game too much. It's just how do you present it, right? How can you present it on a bigger scale? Like there's people out here doing stuff with video right now that's killing it, right? And like we know, physical CDs ain't really that big of a thing as much, you know, anymore. So it's like, okay, how can we take this stuff and make sure that it's seen, right? And make sure that okay, we're being creative with it. We're giving different camera angles. We're you know, giving the experience in a different way. I just think it's like, you know, if I can catch a video on social media, I'm happy to look at it just because I'm not home. I've been out here for 5 years now. Yeah. So getting that vibe for me is having a lot of times look through a video or look, you know, hear something through Apple Music if it's there or YouTube if it's there. You know what I mean? So that's me, that push.
And see, me personally, I feel like my biggest goal and my biggest inspiration still to this day, you know, even at my stage in my career, is to have people that never heard me before hear me and like it. You know what I mean? Like I'm still into where it's not about the money all the time. It's like I still want to go to LA and play for free. You know what I mean? And say, so I can say there's somebody else that didn't hear me before that heard me that may like Go-Go now. They say, okay, well, I ain't like Go-Go at first, but I heard this band. And you know what I mean? Like we've had that happen so many times because of the way we play and the style we play that people gonna say, man, I don't like that Go-Go stuff, but I like Sirius Company. Well, we are Go-Go stuff. Like
exactly.
Like relax a little bit. You can't just blanket cover us because you heard somebody else that you didn't like. It's like listen to R&B. You know what I mean? You might not like the way Prince sang, but you know that don't mean you didn't like R&B or rock and roll. It's like
and it's funny that you said that too, because I mean, being out here, like I've been out here 6 going on 7 years, and like time maybe 2-3 years ago, Wale came out and he did a show at a club called Ohm out here, and he brought a band from back home to play with him. And I mean, he tore that shit up, bro. Like, and it was just like, it was like, yes, you know what I mean. And to me, that's the like, talking to my girlfriend and talking to people out here that aren't familiar with the music and the style. It's like listening to it is one thing, but going to it and going to the show to experience, to get the whole feeling of it, of what it does and how it moves and lives and breathes, is everything. So, I mean, to your point, like you said, if you came out here to LA, it's just like, yeah, it'll be a whole different vibe, because they're not on any of that kind of thing here. It's so I don't want to say soulless out here. That's dissing a lot of people, but I mean, it just to have something that culture, full of culture and feeling and emotion to come out here. People, man, that's.
Now, say, imagine if Wale would have said, "I'm a go-go artist." You see what I'm saying? Like, he had the band with him. He was probably doing call and response. He was doing his records.
Yeah.
He had the live band, and I know the band he had with him. They had Rototons, they had Congos.
Yep.
Right? So imagine if he would have said, "I'm a go-go artist," and you're listening to go-go music.
Yeah.
Washington D.C. You know what I mean?
Educated.
And educate them that way. And now people like, oh, so this is go-go? Okay.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I like Wale. I love go-go. You know what I mean? So that's the type of vibe I'm trying to be on, like breaking barriers. Like, we all know people that, that's not from here. Even from here, we got people that say that now. I don't really mess with go-go, especially the bougie ones that grew up and think they outgrown it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just crazy to me. But anyway, I got people I went to school with. Y'all still doing that go-go stuff? What you mean? Like, do I say you still listening to the R&B stuff, or they listening to, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yo, was your money back in the day. Now you
tell Jill Scott do it, then it's like, oh
yeah. Now you in the club talking about DC. Man, shut up, sit your tired ass down. Somebody from DC do something, it's y'all just that little go-go stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Right.
But that's our people. You gotta love them.
That's our people.
Yes, indeed. So, all right, man, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. We're gonna talk a little sports. We do it. We make it happen. Who you got winning the title, the NBA title this year? We've asked the last couple people on who you got winning.
Shit, up until about 30 minutes ago, I thought it was the Nets. But Kyrie then went down. James Harden went down.
Yeah, they got a tough one.
They left the homie KD to kind of fend for himself. I don't know, man. Out the West, I like Phoenix. Phoenix looking real strong. Chris Paul is on a mission. He looking like he's bringing back old school point guards, man. It's like, he's showing these kids like what it's really about, what basketball is really about. So he's inspiring me. I feel like I can get back out there.
Right. Let me get a couple shots.
Yeah, let me get a shot of cortisone, some aspirin.
Right.
I need an aspirin cocktail.
Right.
But
they need that Brooklyn too, sure.
Yeah. But out the East, I'm switching gears. I had the Nets, but out the East, I'm picking Philly.
Okay.
I like Philly and Phoenix for the championship. Well, Phoenix winning it all.
Hey man, I've been trying to tell them a little bit about Phoenix, man. Looking serious out there. I think
that's because people don't see them on TV a lot.
Yeah, man.
They changed now.
After I wasn't hip until I started watching that series, and I was like, okay, wait a minute. They
got some bona fide shooters.
Hey,
decent bench, and they got two superstars.
And Booker out there balling, man.
He's a superstar.
Hey,
flat out Booker.
Who knew?
And Chris Paul keeps the ball out of the other team's hands, and that's you don't commit turnovers, man. You got a shot to beat anybody.
Yeah,
that's fair. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
Donnie, who you got? Let's just switch up every week, man. Who you got?
Because it's hard to kind of narrow this shit down, man. You already seen how this go. Like you said, up to like 30 minutes ago, it's like one thing, then it moved. So I'm absolutely not for Philadelphia. And sorry, Philly. Love you guys, but sorry. I think Embiid is the business, but I think Ben Simmons got exposed. Or he's getting exposed finally. He deserved that. In the West, I gotta say, I gotta ride with the Clippers right now. I gotta ride that wave because it's just, you know, Kawhi. I think he's stringing it, doing just enough to keep them current. And I'm just I need to see more from Ayton, more consistency from Ayton in order for me to go fully in that direction with everybody else. I feel you. Because, you know, CP is doing this thing and Devin Booker's been Devin Booker. But to me, he's like a West Coast Bradley Beal to me, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? But I just got to go with the Clippers because I just think overall they scrappy enough to the box with them. You know, Marcus Morris on them, whatever. You know what I mean? And they scrappy. So I think they'll surprise people. With regard to the East, I got to go with Milwaukee right now. You know what I mean? They too inconsistent right now, but I just gotta go with Milwaukee just because of Kyrie and
And I don't know, the Greek Freak, man. He just I don't when I watch him play, I don't see skill. I see a bunch of bulldozing, getting to the hole, trying to get fouled. But
I totally understand.
Like I don't know if that play in the playoffs, like deep in the playoffs, when they're not gonna give you all them calls. He's long as a motherfucker. He's you know, he gonna get to the basket and he finishes. But I just, you know, when a good coach is gonna neutralize that and make you shoot the ball. So until he get a jump shot, a consistent jump shot, I can't see him winning the championship.
I will say the only thing I see now, I think adding Drew Holiday to that team.
That's what I'm saying.
That's another score. So old boy, what's the other dude? Look
Middleton.
Like a math teacher.
Middleton.
Yeah, Chris Middleton. I mean, he's pure from the outside. So I think with the addition of Drew Holiday, I think it lets them I think they can't double down on Giannis as much as they used to.
Right.
That might get them to the finals. I don't think they can win, but that might get them to the finals.
They got a shot now with Kyrie down and James Harden down. So
yeah,
they better find something out there in Brooklyn, some kind of shot, some kind of face bandage, some bio free.
They can get one. If they can get to a game, you know, game 6 up 3-2, I think they might got a shot.
Yeah, I hear that.
They got KD like he's stressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looked like damn. All right, so last weekend they had this Mayweather exhibition.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think about that? And then him claiming like he's the best legal bank robber in the game. Like, what did you feel about that whole situation?
Oh, this is a polarizing subject. I mean, I see both sides. Like on one end, I want to say, black man, go get your money, right? Do your thing. I'm happy for you. You're making money and you're doing it. But on the other hand, I'm like, money is not everything. Mm-hmm. And to him, money and having money and showing people you have money is everything, right? And so I kind of like, I don't know, for me, it's difficult because I know how much our people struggle, right? Yeah. I know how much our people have struggled throughout history, and we've struggled in large part because of the slaves who got away outside the gate saying nanny boo boo. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and I feel like to me sometimes he acts like that slave. Like, I want you to get as much money as you can. I want you to be as successful as you can. He's by far, I ain't gonna say by far, he's definitely one of the top 2 greatest fighters of all time. I'm not gonna take that away from him. But you know, just me being, I don't know if you can be conscious and also agree with some of the things he says and does revolving around wealth. You know what I mean? It's personal wealth, and that's great. But I think us as black people have a responsibility in educating. If you're not going to help your fellow man get what you get, then you also have a responsibility to educate them and doing it. And I don't see him doing a lot of educating. I just see him doing a lot of bragging. I mean, but again, that's his prerogative. He can do whatever he wants with his money. You know what I mean? So I just wouldn't act like that if I had that kind of.
Yeah, I definitely think he needs to tweak some of his moves. Like, I think I saw a special on him where they talked about him going from being like Pretty Boy Floyd to Money Mayweather, and like how when he was Pretty Boy Floyd, like he was going head to head with people more and boxing, like, you know, throwing knocking people out more, and he was like he wasn't getting paid, like he wasn't really making the money. And then he watched moves and then was like, all right, you know what? I'm about to flip on y'all. And I think he did. And I think he did it successfully. But I think, like you said, now you at a point where you did it. Like you proved it. You've outplayed the players in the game. You put HBO out of business. Like you did it. Like everything you needed to prove is done. And I think some of the other moves he's making, like, I mean, he does bring young fighters in. He is, you know, looking at young black boys and trying to get them in there and you know, teach them the sport. I think it's now time for him to switch another gear and say, okay, I made the bread. I did it. Let's talk about everybody else. Let's get some other people on board. Let's, you know, and again, I think the people that's on his team, I mean, you know, I think he shares the wealth in some ways in that way, but I think there's some work he can do. You know what I mean? Like he got to switch levels now.
Yeah, and as far as being a businessman, like you said, he has done all of that, and it's great. It's great for our people to have somebody in that position, right? Yeah. But I will say that, you know, my teacher used to always tell me, my 5th grade teacher, I never forget this. He said, kids are always learning. The trick is if adults are always teaching, right? So when he's acting and saying some of these things, he's basically teaching our youngsters how to act when they get money. You know what I mean? And so if we want a bunch of self-absorbed,
Adrian Broners, like, you know what I mean? If we want a bunch of them, then yes, continue to act like that, continue to do your thing. But, you know, for the most part, I just think consciously it's not beneficial to, you know, our people.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I feel that. All right, man. So we getting towards the end, man. We appreciate this rich conversation that we've had. What's next for Frank Sirius?
Honestly, man, like I said, we're gonna put out a record called On Top of the Moon. Shooting a video in 2 weeks. Featuring my man John Williams, who I spoke about earlier. Yeah. Incredible vocalist, saxophonist, producer, songwriter, who I'm fortunate enough to have in the band. So that's the absolute next thing. We have a bunch of shows coming up this summer. You can find us at www.siriusmusic.net. Also on Instagram at Sirius Company, and Facebook Sirius Company, SIRIUS. And man, we see y'all soon. I appreciate y'all having me on and let me run my mouth and talk stuff. But Nick, it was definitely good seeing you again, brother.
No doubt, no doubt.
You know, I appreciate the look. I appreciate the love from the West Coast. And y'all keep doing y'all thing, man. I'm here to support.
Hey, man, we appreciate the support. We appreciate you coming on. You know, time is valuable, and you don't have to do it. You know what I'm saying? So we appreciate you coming on and giving us the conversation. Definitely learned some things today. Yeah. So, Donnie, if you want to close this out, bro, it's on you.
Yeah, I mean, listen, man, it's always great to have great individuals on the show, man, especially people that have accomplished as much as you've accomplished, Scooby, man. Much respect to everything that you've done. Much respect to your craft and being a light for others to follow, man. You're doing your thing, man. We're definitely watching you and just following in your footsteps, man. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
And definitely much appreciated. And I'm gonna be making sure that I try to get the next singles, because, like I said, y'all lit, man. So definitely, I'm gonna be fanning out here for sure. But you already know what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in to Two Flu West. Donnie B.GotDaBeats, my brother Nicholas Baker, man. Make sure you like and subscribe to Two Flu West, man. If you haven't already, man, you're missing out real live. Also, like and subscribe and follow Sirius Company, Scooby, Frank Sirius, the whole Sirius endeavor, man. Just make sure y'all like and subscribe. And stay tuned for what's next, man. Everybody got something that they cooking, man. So just make sure that y'all like and subscribe and support, man. Other than that, man. Pernell Whitaker or Floyd Mayweather? I think that should have been, if Pernell Whitaker was still here.
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd.
Pernell was a good fighter, great fighter, but Floyd one of the best ever.
Hey, man, his skill level, his skills. It's all about the sweet science of it, like sweet science of boxing. Yeah. He got that shit down, man. Like it's crazy.
He's a man. Hey, real quick, I want to say this, man. We're gonna be out in Vegas for the Washington football team Raiders game, December 3rd through the 6th, I think. it'd be dope if y'all, man, we can do a show live from Las Vegas. You know,
I like it, man. Let's make it happen.
Man, listen.
I'm on the 2 Flu West. I can bring
Hey,
it.
I'm a Raiders fan, so
There it is then.
yeah, we need to get that. We need to get that popping, man.
Vegas 4 hours from here. You might have to get up there. Oh man, I might be in Costa Rica. If I'm not in Costa Rica, I'm down there. I'm damn sure for there. Sure.
It might be one,
Listen,
might be one Flu West.
If Donnie too busy getting his tan, man, you know, you
Right.
already got co-host.
Hey, man,
Hey,
I'm
man.
ready. We gotta make that happen.
Yeah, we got to make that happen, man. Stay. Yeah, keep us posted on that, man. Seriously,
Yeah,
we see if we can make that happen for sure.
Cool.
All right, guys.
Yeah, bro.
All right, again, Donnie B.GotDaBeats, Nicholas Baker, Scooby. We here, 2 Flu West, man. We're gonna let the planes fly. You already know what it is.
Yes, sir.